Hi everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back in my craft room here at Random Acts of Crafting. So welcome in, come on in and sit down and kick your feet up, and we're going to do a little crafting today. I was kind of not feeling real good over the weekend, actually Sunday and yesterday, so I didn't get anything up on Monday as I normally do. I do apologize, but I just wasn't feeling well, and with all the crises, I think if you start feeling the least bit sick, you kind of get a little panicky. I am fine. I don't believe I have the coronavirus. My allergies have been kicking, and I think that kind of causes the coughing and some of the things that they said are associated, but I want to guarantee everyone that I am good. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the supplies that I plan on using. I've got my mini Misty. I have this Stampin' Up punch, and this one is called the Story Label. And what I did is I started labeling my punches when they come in, because Stampin' Up does not put the name of your punch on your punch. So I thought, so that everyone would know if I'm using a certain punch and you wanted to order this, you can go to my website and get it. This is a very versatile punch for any type of sentiment, and it's called the Story Label. I'm going to use probably the Squeeze Lemonade Distress Oxide ink, and also I am looking to use the VersaFine Clair. This is the Rainforest, but I'm not sure yet if I'm not going to go lighter. But for right now, I did choose these two colors, a yellow and a green. I'm going to set these over to the side. Of course, I got my VersaFine for my sentiment. And I've got some dies. These are the Gina Marie, the Eyelet Elegance Circle die. And I am planning on using next to the largest, which is this one. So I'm going to just lay it out, and I'm going to put my dies back over here. So that die we will definitely be using. The stamp set, I'm going to make a Get Well card, and the stamp set that I'm featuring today is Back on Your Feet. This is the cutest little stamp set, and as you can see, it's not little, it's good sized pieces that really make a statement on a card. Look at that giraffe with his neck tied in a knot, and it says, "This is not good," K-N-O-T. I love this turtle. We're going to be using the turtle today, and it says, "Hope you're back on your feet soon." That's going to be the sentiment. Look at the little sloth, and he's got a little bandage on him arm. Is that not precious? And he looks like he doesn't feel well. So I thought a Get Well card would be nice to have. We've got so many people that are feeling under the weather. We have, you know, in this time, it's so important for us to make some cards and send them to people that you know. Even if it's, don't be afraid. I'm praying for you. I think all of us are feeling the anxiety over this whole thing that's going on. But if you can ease someone's anxiety with a card, by all means, make a card and put it in the mail. The other thing is, of course, I've got my Stampin' Up trimmer. I don't leave home without it, and I definitely don't craft without it. I've got 3 small pieces of scrap white paper, and I'm going to lay those over here. And I've got a piece of white that I'm going to use for my card base. And this is just an 8.5 by 11, and this is the Nina Bright White cardstock. And then I also have this piece of decorative paper, and this is a beautiful sunshine yellow with these pretty white flowers and the green stems, and I thought this would be so cheery on a Get Well card. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring over my trimmer, and I want to trim this piece down into my card base. And I want this to open in, you know, there's 2 ways you can cut. You can cut your cardstock in half at 4 1/4 and have a card that opens up this way or this way, and it's the orientation that's different. Or you can cut it at 5 1/2 this way, and you can have it folding in a different direction. And I'm going to do it in this direction. So I'm going to line that up at 5 1/2 and just slice it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, while I've got it here with my trimmer, I'm going to place it in at 4 and 1/4. And I'm going to grab a stylist. No, I'm not. I forget that I can do this right with this. I've got this wonderful little tool built into this, and all I got to do, the lighter colored top is your scoring mechanism. The darker one is your blade. So now I have my cardstock is already creased. So all I have to do is just fold it in place, and I have a perfect fold for my card. So this is going to be our card base. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring this piece in because I know I want to do a mat for this card. So I need the mat to be 4. So I'm going to cut this down at 4 inches. And I'm going to cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And there. Look how beautiful that's going to look on that white card base. Isn't that pretty? Alright, so I think right now we're done with our trimmer, so let's put it up. I want to do that without bending my piece of cardstock that I laid over here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stuff, my supplies and stuff over here. And I'm going to grab my die cut machine, and I'm not going to bring it all the way over. I'm just going to open it over here, and I'm going to go ahead and set up to cut. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this die cut and a piece of this paper. I think this piece right here will work perfectly for this. Yep. So all I'm going to do is run this through my die machine and cut out that circle. The circle is going to be very important because this is where I want our focal piece to live, is on this beautiful eyelet circle. And this is such a pretty die. I always get compliments on this die whenever I use it, and you're going to see why when I bring this out. Okay, we got a good cut on that. And look how pretty that is. Making sure all of my little holes have come loose, and they have. Isn't that pretty? I think this always turns out beautifully. So I'm going to leave this way over here because I do need to clean those little dots out of it. So I'm going to move my die cut and get that up out of my way. Alright, so the next thing I think we're going to do is I want to ink around the edge of this, and I'm thinking I want to go with this dark green, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to take this little scrap piece of paper here, and I am going to dab my brush in this dark ink. And I'm just going to do this to see if that's the color that I want. I think if I go light with this, this will be perfect. So we're going to go with it. So I'm just going to tap it, and I'm going to put some ink right here on my glass mat. And then I'm going to come in on the edge of this, just around the edges, pick up a little bit more of that ink. Now this is a very pigmented ink, so which means that it has marvelous color. So it won't take but a little bit of this. And the reason I wanted to put a little color around the edge, I just kind of want to frame our little turtle. And I want it to have a little bit of maybe some of the colors that we're going to use with him. And I think this is going to be so cute. And it's also going to give a little spotlight for him to live in. So I think that's all I'm going to do here. I'm just going to blend out a little bit around here. And then that can live on top of that. Now I am going to go ahead and grab a microfiber cloth, and I'm going to clean this up. And then after I get that clean, I definitely want to clean my brush. So I'm just going to take and rub my brush in all directions on this microfiber towel, rag, whatever you want to use. I think it's a little cloth, but anyway, we're just going to rub it. And I just want to make sure that I got all of that green ink, the residue of it, so that I don't contaminate the next color ink that I use. So I have this one set of brushes, and they come, because they're makeup brushes, they come in a set of 4 like this. And I got these from Amazon. This one right here is great for detail, as well as the little one here. These two I use mostly for my heavy blending, and they work. I love these brushes. They're very fine textured. I'm actually thinking about ordering a set of them for makeup brushes, because I think that would feel so good on your skin. It's such a tight-knit brush. So, put those away in my little cloth. Let's cover up my ink. And now I'm going to bring this in along with my Misty. Now, because I'm going to be using a cling stamp, and I'll show you the difference in a cling stamp, and your red rubber stamps are usually your cling stamps, and this particular stamp set, Back on Your Feet, it tells at the top whether it's a photopolymer or whether it's a cling stamp, and this is a cling stamp. And the cling stamps are nice because they have the cushion already built into them, so it's like having a woodblock stamp with the clarity of stamping, but in the convenience of storage in a flat stamp that stores very beautifully. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to lay it right here in the corner, and I want to center him in the middle. I am going to put down my strong magnet to hold this, and this is a strong magnet. That magnet is super strong. And I'm also going to use this one right here, and we're going to stamp him right about there. I think that's good. So now I'm just going to pull that over, pick my stamp up, and there is another ink I'm going to use for this little guy, because I'm going to use my alcohol markers. I'm pulling out this Nuvo hybrid ink pad. I have these in my store, so if you're interested in picking up a really good ink that you can use both alcohol and water-based markers, which means your Nuvo markers and your Tombow markers both will work with this ink without getting a bleed or a fade. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this little guy up because he is super cute. I want to get a good impression, and I have to tell you, the Stampin' Up stamps are phenomenal. Yeah, they cost maybe a little bit more. You might pay $2 to $3 depending on the set, more than you would for a traditional photopolymer stamp. The quality is so good. Plus you get these beautiful little storage containers to keep them in. Now I think that stamp's perfect, but I am going to go ahead and do a second stamping just to make sure we get a really good impression. Oh yeah, look at that. That is beautiful. Love these Nuvo ink pads. Again, this one is called Black Shadow. It is a very dark black. They do have a gray that is called Metro Gray. Right now these come in 6 colors, It comes in the Midnight Shadow, it comes in a Safari Green, a Empire Blue, a Poppy Red, an Acorn Brown, and a Metro Gray. They are beautiful inks, and they work so wonderful for the different techniques that you would need to use. I'm going to go ahead and get my little, this is another one of my rags or cloths that I use. I usually have two. I'll have one for cleaning up my messes and one dedicated to my stamps. This one right here is dedicated to my stamps. Now I'm just going to wipe that off. And what's so nice, you don't really need a chamois or a scrubbing pad. You can just spray a couple of little squirts of your Squeaky Clean and clean the stamp up beautifully. And look how good the Squeaky Clean cleans that stamp. And you can just come back with a dry side, a dry spot on your cloth, and just clean that up. And look at that. Beautiful. Look how pretty that is. It looks like it's brand new. Okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put that back in here because we don't need to use that. I'm going to pull this out. And I'm going to proceed to color. I do need one more of these little turtles, so I'm going to place this piece in. And I'm going to, I should have done that before I cleaned them up. Oh well, I wasn't thinking. I'm going to need two of these. So this one is the one we're going to really emphasize the color on. So I could have stamped that one in any color or any ink because this one is going to be covered up. I'm still going to color him though. I think he still deserves to be colored. So I'm going to ink this up one more time. Sorry I forgot about that. Got ahead of myself. You know, that's so easy to do when you're talking and I'm trying to keep y'all entertained while I'm doing my thing. And sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself, or in this case, a little behind myself. But that's okay. I caught it, we're fixing it, and now we have this beautiful image ready to color, and then we will fussy cut. This one will not be fussy cut because it's going to live right there on that little circle. Okay, let me get my little chamois. I still got that little spot of cleaner on here, so I'm just going to use it, and you can see how easy that cleans off just with that little leftover amount. Can peel that off and put it back, this time hopefully to stay. Alright, I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out my image. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put my little mat back into my Misty. I like to put things back together as I use them. I don't know if y'all are like that, but it helps me. I don't think I got that all the way in there. There. Oops. Those magnets are very attracted to one another. Pardon the pun. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some colors out here, and we are going to proceed to color this gorgeous little turtle. So the first color I want to start with is I want to grab my darkest woodland green, and that is 417, and all I want to do is color inside of his shell. So I want the darkest part of my green. I am going to grab my bifocals. I seem to color better with these on than I do with them off. So I'm going to just go in, and everywhere there's an in-between piece, now, I tend to get very quiet when I'm coloring. I heard that. A lot of you are saying, you should color more often. I'm sure my husband would agree. But I'm just going to go in on the shell and just pick up all of that darker green. Now I'm going to go up here, and I think right here I want it to be that dark. And this one is going to be dark. That's going to be dark. And there. And there. Maybe right there. Do y'all see what I'm doing? I'm like hitting every other one with this dark green. That's the color that's going in between his shell. So I think I'm done with this one. This is the darkest one in the woodland greens, and it is 417. And I am going to write this down. I'm going to write the colors down. So I can put those on the screen as we're doing this. Now the next color I want something that's a little bit of a dab, sort of a olive green, and this one is called Leaf Vine. And I'm going to give it a little test, and that looks about what I'm looking for. So I'm going to come in on these in-between pieces. Now I love this color right here, and I think I'm going to do his body in this color because I used to have a turtle when I was a kid. You know, it was legal to have those little small turtles that was about that big around. I don't know if any of y'all had those, but I did as a kid. And one in particular was such a gentle little turtle, and he was just a beautiful little soul. And he would put his head out and let me rub his head. So we developed quite a bond, me and my little turtle. And I think I named him Sam. And every now and then he would fall off of his rock, and he would look like this little turtle. And he would be upside down and couldn't get back over, and I would very, very gently lift him up and turn him over. And he always looked so thankful. I think they're illegal in the United States now. At that time, you know, that was way back. Way, way back. I know I'm telling my age. But y'all all know that I had a birthday last week, so I'm no spring chicken by any means. But that's okay. I still enjoy coloring and cutting and crafting. Now I'm not worrying about getting out a line on this one because we're going to fussy cut him out. Alrighty, I think I'm going to go ahead and do his legs this color. That's so cute. Look at him. Is he not adorable? Alright, I'm going to leave this one lay out just for a moment because I want to find another shade of green, or kind of a yellowish green. Maybe woodland moss. Let's see what that one looks like. Yeah, I think I'm going to come in and do this color. I absolutely love these markers because they are so versatile. You don't have to guess if you want to do some shading. I'm kind of coloring him in flat, but if I was going to shade, I would go in with the lighter color, which is Peapod, and this is number 412. Let's do this one right here. I'm going with this lighter color. And then I come back with the one darker color, and I would just pull in like that. And then I come back with the lighter color again, and I would just blend out those, just like that. And now you notice it looks like it's very blended, and it doesn't look as though you have used two colors. It looks like one color, but it's really not. It's just been shaded really well. Oops, I'm calling the wrong color there. Alright, so now the only thing that we need to do is his little belly. And I don't know about you, but I always think of a turtle having sort of a greenish yellow belly. So, I am going to put these markers back so I can remember which way they go. So now I want to find something in a yellow greenish look, and this is called White Grape. And that's about the color that I'm looking for. And turtles' eyes are usually yellow, or at least all the ones I've seen up close and personal have been yellow. So I'm going to come back in with 409, not the cleaner, but the color on the marker. And I am just going to highlight a little bit. Just like that, and I think our little turtle looks so cute. Now I'm going to go off camera, and I'm going to color our, what did I do with them? The one we cut, oh, right here, the one we cut in the circle, and I'm going to go ahead and color this one, and we will meet right back up. I'm going to color this one and fussy cut the one that we just colored, and then when we get back I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Be right back. Okay, I got both of my little turtles colored, and now I'm going to fussy cut this one. And I decided to come back on because I wanted to show you his little eyebrows and his little toenails. I'm not, and even this little lines underneath him, I'm going to cut those away, and I'll tell you why. I'll just cut him off like that because I don't think we need that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut. Notice how I'm keeping my scissors angled because I want to get the black line, but I don't want to get the white if I can help it. So I'm just going to cut right around here, just like that, and anything that's hanging over will just get cut away. Where I miscolored and went out of the line, doesn't matter because it's going to get cut away. His little toe right there, I'm going to cut his toes away. just like that, and just keep going around that outer line. And the reason I say that is because when we lay this down over top of this, the toes, the little eyebrows, all of that's going to be there on that image. So we don't really need to worry about cutting those, because we're going to stick him down right on top of that one with a little bit of dimensional foam tape, which I think will make him kind of pop. And he is our focal point, because bless his heart, he really can't get back on his feet without a little help. So, you know, when we get knocked over, knocked down, sometimes we need a little help from somebody. So never be afraid to ask for help. And I suffer from that because I don't want people to feel like they're obligated to me for any reason. But I do enjoy receiving, but I also enjoy giving. So just making it very easy and very gently. I'm just going right around his head, trying to stay on the outside of that black line without getting white. Just like that. You know, if you take your time when you're fussy cutting, you'll find out that you enjoy it so much more because you get better at it. Okay, we can throw that in the trash. And now this cute little turtle is going to live right here on top of this one. And see how when you put him down, you're not missing his toes at all. So I'm going to grab some foam tape. And I'm going to cut a piece off about like that. And then I'm going to just cut this down into smaller pieces. So I'm going to cut my piece in two. Just slice it down the middle. And then I'm going to put a piece right across here, about to there. My tape is showing right there, so I'm going to have to do a little fancy cutting on here. So we're going to go in, lift that up just a bit, and go under it and snip. No big deal. We'll put this little piece right here on his head. One thing I don't do is I don't waste my dimensional tape. So on this one I am going to cut off a piece here and a piece here. And this will help this piece right down here to sit. Just like that. Oops. You know what? I'm going to put this piece here, but I'm going to cut it down. And we'll put this piece on this little foot right there. And I may put some more glitter glue on those because I did touch it quite a bit. And we'll cut another little piece for his head. And again, I'm going to angle this off because of his neck. Just like that. And we're going to lay this down right here. And then I'm going to use this little piece right here. Like I said, I don't waste any of it because it is really good tape. It's not cheap, but I love my dimensional tape. I use it all the time. And now this piece right here, I'm just going to stick it back onto the roll of tape. So when I come back to pull a piece off, I'll see that I have this piece already there. Can y'all see that? And then I'll use that piece before I cut another piece. And that's the way I roll on my roll of tape. Oh, pardon the pun. I am feeling a little bit silly this morning. But I do feel a lot better than I did yesterday, which is a blessing, because yesterday I did not feel well. I did come in here and sit down in the craft room a couple of times, and I just couldn't get anything to come together for me like I wanted. So, and this tape is super sticky, so everything wants to stick to it when you start pulling this up. Alright, what I'm going to do now before I go any further, I am going to take a little bit of art glitter glue, and I'm just going to put a dab on each one of these pieces, especially these ones that I handled quite a bit. This is going to give me twofold. It's going to give me double adhesion, and it's also going to give me a little bit of wiggle room when I sit him down, just to wiggle him around and get him just where I want him. And I think that's good right there. Now look how cute that is. He's raised up just enough. It gives you enough of interest and dimension on the card. Now I'm going to glue this flat down to the top of this mat. But I'll tell you what, before we start putting it on, let's go ahead and put the mat down to the card. So with art glitter glue, I'm just going to do a little bit right here. And I'm going to get this with my 1/4 inch border all the way around. I am going to grab my bone folder because I'm going to squish this glue down, and I also want to get a good crease on this card. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to glue this right here, and I'm going to do just a nice little smidgen of art glitter glue. And I want him to look like he is just hanging out right about there on our card. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to take a pretty piece of bright white, and this is a very bright white, and I'm going to grab my stamp set because I'm going to do the sentiment that says, "Hope you're back on your feet soon." Now that is super cute, and I'm going to stamp it about there. So let me grab a stamp block, and I'm going to show y'all how I use my grid on my cutting mat. I'm going to line that stamp evenly up right there, and then I'm going to grab it onto my stamp block, lining it up even with the grid. And then I'm going to grab my onyx black, and I'm going to stamp this right about here. Oh, and I made a boo-boo. Alright, let's see if we can fix that boo-boo. I'm going to grab my little mono sand eraser. And what this does, because it has sand in it, it actually takes the paper away. But you know what I've done? I've smeared all of the ink in the process. Alright, we're going to turn it over. And we're going to do this again. But we're going to be very careful inking. And very careful stamping. Now that one looks much better. Alright, so now I'm going to grab that punch that I told you about called Story Label, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take my image and I'm going to put it in, or my sentiment, and I'm going to hold it in here until I get it centered about where I want it. I'm just going to lock the punch down by pushing slightly onto it. And I'm going to look again and make sure that's the way I want it. If I don't, I just ease up on it, reposition it, and that's where I want it, so I'm going to punch. Now, since I did this beautiful little green edging on this piece, I want to do the same thing on this piece. So I am going to grab this brush, and I'm going to grab my ink, the green. And let me put my pen back in my glue. There we go. So I'm going to use this Rainforest Versifying Clear, and I'm going to hold this piece up like this because I just want to flick around the edges, just enough to get a nice little border of green. And if you get a little bit on, just, you know, pretend like you meant to do that, and just bring it all the way around the side. And then we're going to put that down right there. Okay. And that brush up right away, get that ink off of it. Now I only do this for my brushes. My little tool that has the Velcro little ends on them, I usually have a dedicated one for different families and colors of ink. So with that, I don't change them out. I don't have to clean them. I just leave the ink on them. But my brushes I do. Alright, so this one, I am going to pop this up. So again, we're going to grab that roll of tape. And I have this piece already cut, so I'm going to take and put it right down the middle, just like that. And we'll cut another little piece. And we're going to put a piece right there. Just make sure that's not hanging over. And a piece right here. And I'm trying to decide if I like the way that turned out, and I'm not sure that I do. So let's see. I'm going to grab one of these. And this is the tools I was talking about. And I am going to come in and do just a little bit more edging around that. So let's grab this green. I think this will make it look more finished. I think the mistake I made was grabbing that smaller brush. If I had gotten a larger one, I don't think I would have had that problem. And the brushes work really, really well when you're inking and edging, like around a, or if you're ink blending, they work beautifully. So I like the way that looks a lot better now. So we've got our tape on it, so I'm going to go ahead and release our backing. And I'm going to put this down right about here. Just like that. Now for the inside, we've got the outside finished. For the inside, I think what I want to do is I want to let them know that I'm thinking of them and that I want them to get better soon. So let's see if I can find this down. Alright, we are back. I have regrouped and I thought how cute would it be to pull in a mat for the inside that looks like this, that would coordinate so well with that. But I got to thinking, and you know that's dangerous, how cute would it be to have a border of this without wasting the entire piece of cardstock? So I thought, let's try something and see if it works. You know, we're always trying to get the most out of our cardstock that we can. So this is already cut at 4. Yeah, we'll call that 4. So that's going to map perfectly inside the card. So let's go ahead and cut it at 5 1/4. And now, what if we took a rectangle and cut out something that we could use on another card so we don't waste that whole piece of cardstock? Because look how pretty that is. So let's look, and I have got some decorative, some very beautiful rectangles. So let's see what this one would look like. And I think this would be perfect. We could cut that out and we could still use this as a frame, put a piece of white in the same size as that, and voila. So let's go ahead and give that a try and see what we come up with. So I am going to get my little die machine out and see if I can load him up. And I want this to cut just like that. And I'm eyeballing it, but it is giving me a good little frame around it. And that's exactly what I want. Did make quite a snap and a crack there, but that's okay. In the natures of dies, that's exactly what they do. And look at that. And then look at this beautiful piece that I've got that I can use on another card. I mean, look at this. If I put it on here, isn't that gorgeous? Alrighty, so we've actually salvaged that piece of cardstock so that we can actually make that work for us in more ways than one. Now I do need to clean this die out, so I'm going to lay it over here. And then after I finish recording, and when I get ready to clean up, I can put all of this away and clean up my mess. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this down. And I decided that I'm going to cut it like I'm going to make 2 cards. And I think I'm going to do it this way and cut it at 5 1/2. And now this will be 1 card base. And this will give us 2 pieces and a strip. So I'm going to do 5 1/4. And for right now, I'm just going to get that 1 piece that is, I don't need it to be 5 1/4, do I? Let's see. I need this piece to be, let's pull our card over here because I want to make sure I'm getting it just like I want it. Okay, this is going to fit in here. And now we're going to measure our opening. And this opening is measuring we can go 3 1/2. Three and a half by 5. So let's come over to 3 1/2. And then cut it to 5. And now this should fit perfectly on top of this. Now who would not know that we didn't mat that full piece under there? No one's the wiser. Alright, we're going to move our trimmer out, and I am going to go ahead and put this piece down first. So I'm going to open that card up all the way, and I'm going to do glue all the way down, all the way around. Just like that. And then I'm going to very carefully lay this in. Very good. Now we're just going to lay this over top of it. And this piece we're going to do it as we normally would. We're just going to put glue down. Bring this up. And press that down. And now we're going to need a little piece of white. And I think I'm going to cut me another piece of white because, let's see, I want a really nice piece of clean white. And I need it to be, I want that green to show. I definitely want the green to show. So let's go 3 inches by 1 1/2. 3 by 4 1/2. So we can go in here and cut this at 3 inches. And now we will stamp our sentiment on this. And look how cute that looks. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get our stamps out, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to finish this card up. Okay, I'm going to stamp our sentiment first, so let's clean our stamp. I am going to grab my stamp cleaner for this. Okay, that is wonderful. All nice and clean. And this is ready to go back into our stamp set. And I absolutely love the way these stamp sets store. The fact that you can put these on a shelf like this and you can see what they are and the images on them. This is just a great system. I am loving these Stampin' Up! Stamps. So if you have not tried one, I urge you to order you at least one of the Stampin' Up! Cling stamp sets. Their photopolymer is great too. So, you know, just get the one that speaks to you. Speaking of speaking, this little stamp right here, hope your day brings you just what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. I love that. So I am going to stamp that right about there. So again, I'm going to line my stamp up. And this time I'm going to line it up at the top because that good is kind of hanging off at the bottom. And then I'm going to line this up to the top. And now I know that I've got it exactly where it needs to be. So I'm going to grab this ink. And we're going to stamp it right up to the top just a little bit. Just going to let it sit there and kiss that paper. Nice long, sweet kiss. And there we go. The stamp is so cute. It says everything that you'd want to wish somebody that is recovering from a surgery or an illness or anything like that. So I love this card. I think it's so cute. I love, love, love the way this came together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this right here. But before I do, I love this butterfly. And I am going to stamp this butterfly right here in the corner. So I'm going to get a small stamp block. And I'm just going to use my VersaFine for this. I am going to color these butterflies, but I think I'm going to color them with my Tombows. Ah, that would be beautiful without any color. So cute. Alrighty. So I'm going to grab maybe a gold, a pretty blue, a hot pink, and how about a green? I think these four colors will be beautiful on these butterflies. So I'm going to start off with my green, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my big portion in here this color. Now, some of you say you enjoy watching people color. I usually don't, and maybe that's just me. It's just not my thing. I'll watch maybe for a technique, but not so much just to watch people color. So I always have a hard time putting this on my channel because of the fact that I don't like it. But if y'all want to see it, just let me know. And anybody that is like me that doesn't particularly care for people just sitting coloring, you can fast forward, and that's what that button there is for. So if you don't embrace it, you know, just fast forward through this and get on to the end of the card where you actually see me putting it back together. And I'm going to come in. I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to mimic these butterflies. So wherever I put one color down, I am going to be more than likely to use that same color in the same place. So I'm going to pick up some of this pink. And pink. And as you notice, I get very silent when I'm coloring because I'm just one of those people that I can't concentrate if I'm talking, especially when I'm doing some detail coloring like this. But any other time you can't shut me up. Okay, I think I am going to grab a bright yellow because I think we just need to have a little bit of brightness on this little butterfly. So I'm going to come in here, and here, right there and there, and then I'm going to color around the top of those wings, and here, and then around the top of those wings, and I think that's good. The first card I made, I cut those butterflies out, but I think I like them better stamped directly on than actually cut. So now all we have to do, and you know, when you're getting ready to do this, make your butterflies whatever color you want your butterflies to be. They're your butterflies, it's your craft room, it's your rolls. And I think Tracy would agree with me on that one. My craft room, my rolls. Alright, we're going to put this down. And again, like I always tell you, my cards are not for you to make exactly what I do, but to give you inspiration on what you can do. But if you are interested in any of the products that I used in today's video, check out the link below. Everything was Stamping Up as far as the stamp sets that I used. Everything was Stamping Up. The markers that I used were Nuvo alcohol markers for my turtle. I used VersaFine Claire ink for my inking, and some designer cardstock. This was from a pack called Southern Belle, and I got this at Tuesday Mornings, and as you can see, there's the sticker, $6.99. and it is Southern Belle. So I don't know if they still have it, but it wouldn't hurt to look. There different things there for different folks. So, but anyway, that's the one that I made, and let me show you the first one that I made. And this one's a little different, but yet still it's very cute. Same idea. This one I've actually already signed it because I'm sending it to someone, and this one maybe not yet. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Your comments mean so much to me. I love to read what you have to say, and both negative and positive. I do not delete negative comments unless they're just really dirty, ugly, troll-like. But if it's constructive criticism, I will like it, just like I do the ones that rave over what I do. Because everything I do is not perfect. I am not a perfect person by no means. I am human. I make mistakes just like you do. The only difference is I have a YouTube channel and all of y'all get to see my mistakes. But I hope that you will try this card. And I would hope that before the end of March, you would come in and join up with Stampin' Up! $99, and I'm telling you, it's so worth it because you will get at least 125 plus all the freebies they're giving away right now. You're not obligated to continue selling. You can come in, join up, get the kit, and then you can very easily drop out. We'll be signed in for 3 months, but you're not obligated at all. So you have 3 months to shop and earn money for buying products yourself. Not only that, you'll be eligible for freebies. I got quite a few freebies since I've been here. So give it a thought, and you come and join me for the journey. It has been a wonderful experience for me. I love everything that I've tried in the Stampin' Up! Line. Their products exceed. I'm so sorry. I took NyQuil last night because I wasn't feeling good, and the effects of it today has got me yawning, and I do apologize. But anyway, I hope that you'll try these cards. I hope you will take a look at the Stampin' Up! Site. If you have any questions about Stampin' Up!, shoot me an email, leave me your phone number, and I'll be sure to give you a call. The email address is very simple, Kathy@randomactsofcrafting.com. You'll see the email address here, and also the link to my Stampin' Up! Store, as well as the link to Random Acts of Crafting store. So go do some shopping. Support a local business and a small business. We are definitely hurting right now. But you know what? Even if we're quarantined in and we can't go anywhere, we can craft. And you know what? I thank God for that. I thank God that I have a diversion from all of the news media and everything that's going on out there, and the fear. So when I get in here and craft, I don't feel fear. I feel creativity. And I just want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to encourage you to be a blessing to someone else today. Let that love of Christ shine from your heart to this dark world that we live in. Be a blessing. Show someone kindness and love today, even if it's just sending them out a card. You'll be surprised how much it will mean. Until we craft again, please let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven, for He is so worthy. He is so worthy of our love. So happy crafting, everybody. I love you all. Bye-bye.